Well, one of those companies hit hard today is Flight Centre, the country's biggest travel agency. Today said underlying net profit was $78.6 million. That's up slightly. Revenue was steady at $1.3 billion. But the shares, well, they fell heavily. Have a look at this, down more than 10% as the company reported its full year earnings now tracking towards the low to middle section of its targeted band. Well, I spoke with the Flight Centre Chief Executive, Graham Turner, universally known as Screw, just a little earlier.
Look, Ross, as a business, we're reasonably happy. We've still got a fair way to go. We're just over halfway through this financial year, and we're reasonably confident that the next 4 or 5 months is going to be reasonably good. That's the indications so far, particularly, the first couple of months of this calendar year and the last couple of months of last year have improved quite a lot. So we're pretty confident over the next few months.
Okay, so just explain, with clearly budgets, household budgets being squeezed, some business budgets being squeezed, is that changing the pattern or the behaviour of travellers both domestically and internationally?
Certainly in the corporate area, their budgets of a lot of the bigger business companies, corporate companies that we do, half our business is now corporate and more than half of it comes from overseas. There's no doubt that there's a significant downturn in spending from some of the major corporates. We haven't seen much change in domestic or international leisure spend. People from the inflation and the interest rates at the younger end of the market are probably suffering a bit. But our average age out of Australia, for example, in the Flight Centre brand is about 53 years old. And they still seem to be travelling pretty well. So we're not too worried about that aspect of it.
Okay, is there something that you're affected by when it comes to price? Because there's clearly more competition on the more expensive international flights these days. You've got Qatar and Virgin hooking up. You've got Turkish Airlines coming into Australia. You've got Qantas putting on more flights to different places. So there is more competition, more flights coming into the country.
Yes, definitely. And I think the attitude even of the government has changed from when Qatar, some time ago, applied for another 28 flights. I think the government's changed their attitude to that. We're seeing a lot more flights coming in, both from the American carriers, the Chinese carriers, and of course, particularly the Middle Eastern carriers with this new tie-up between Virgin and Qatar. So, we're pretty confident that the consumers will be the people who benefit out of this in particular. And obviously that helps us as well, because the more flights we sell, the better business is for us. So everything's looking pretty good. Turkish coming in is a very positive thing too. Not just for what they're doing now, but what they're looking at doing in the future. And just very quickly, when you've got things like Skyscanner and you've got Expedia going out there and really tracking flights, does it make it harder for you as a business? I know that you've created a whole lot of other little brands that you own on the side to tap into those. Is that a new part of your business? Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a number of businesses that are purely online, whether it's Student Universe or BYO Jet, as well as the flightcentre.com, that obviously is now 16%, I think, of our turnover in the Flight Centre brand. And we've got 5 major brands globally, but we have a number of other niche brands. For example, the luxury brand Scott Dunn has been doing very well. We've just had a record month in January. So, we are quite a diversified travel company, not just in the brands, in corporate and leisure, but also in the geographies, 26 geographies that we have equity in corporate and 6 in leisure. So, we've got plenty of opportunities.
I'll tell you, always good to chat to you. Graham Turner, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Ross. Cheers.